Hello, my name is Andrea Cairella, and I am a psychotherapist and transformational coach. And I wanted to cover today a very special topic, which is the heroine's journey. Now, a lot of women that I work with and see privately that work with me one on one, or the women that participate and attend my live retreats, whether it be in California or in different destination locations, the focus is to help women through various transitions of womanhood and various transitions of life. And oftentimes we can struggle in these transitions, and it can bring up a lot of anxiety and a lot of uncertainty. And we can feel really lost and not know where to go or what to do or even know how to navigate the system. And for me, being able to help put on a summit like this and support women like you through whatever phase or transition you are in your own life. So, whether you are transitioning into becoming a wife or ending a relationship, a breakup, or a divorce, whether you are experiencing a loss of a family member, a mother or father, or really are finally ready to address the loss of different traumas that you've experienced in your life and seeing that certain present day situations are not working and that it's really time to work on healing those experiences from the past that maybe you've been focusing on the future or trying to avoid, and now it's time. Or even just dealing with becoming a new mom or a new move or a transition from what you formerly were used to, and there's been all these big changes, whether a change of a job or changes your circle of friends, because really every woman has a story and every woman has their own heroine's journey. And we all have our own valleys and we have our own mountaintops. And the reality is sometimes when we're in the valley, we really don't want to be there. We either want to avoid it or we want to get through it perfectly or quickly, with not having to deal with the intensity of it. And so, with this talk today, I want to really be able to give you some tools and strategies that you can begin to use to help you with whatever phase you are, whatever transition that you are facing right now, that you really feel well supported. Now, I've been doing this for over 10 years with women all over the world, and this is really a passion of mine, especially when the women that I've been working with one-on-one gather together at a retreat, because it also just up-levels your growth exponentially. And it's really a beautiful experience to facilitate both one-on-one as well as a group setting, as you really expand your support system, as you really get more comfortable and courageous with the vulnerability and the wobbly parts that are inside. And when you shine a light of love and empathy on those vulnerable, raw, delicate, very sensitive places, and have either one-on-one a coach or mentor that works with you, or a community of other women that love you and support you and lift you up, even in that vulnerability, it is absolutely transformative. And so to be able to see the miracles that open up and how a woman can really brighten their light and expand is just thrilling to me, because the more women that feel liberated and free and are able to find inner peace and self-love, really everyone wins, because women tend to be very generous and give and be caretakers. So when we really master the ability to be able to take care of ourselves well in a very loving, nurturing way, and we're able to be balanced and well supported in our emotional well-being, then we really can create powerful change both internally and around us. And so In this talk today, I really would love to give you some practical strategies. And so I'd like to start us off with a few things that have supported me in my own life and supported my clients in finding balance and inner peace. Now, the first exercise is called mindfulness, which is really about being presently aware non-judgmentally. A lot of times our mind, our thoughts are very active and they take us in all sorts of different directions, and we can get consumed by our thoughts, and then they have more and more thoughts, and then we're flooded and overwhelmed and anxious. Or we try to over control and we try to push it away and like, oh, I shouldn't think that, or I need to not think about that. And then we get into a power struggle within ourselves, and either of those create more anxiety. So really the focus is about bringing ourselves back to the present moment, bringing ourselves back to our breath, and being able to focus our attention on just this moment, because really it is the present of the present, and really celebrating that gift of this moment. Because when we can actually gently bring ourselves back to our breath and bring ourselves back to whatever that focal point is. So I'd like you to take a focal point and focus on that, whether it be closing your eyes, whether it be a rock or a stone or a pen that's on your desk. You're just going to focus your attention on that for a moment and just gently bring yourself back to that focal point and your breath and whatever things are going on in the present moment, being able to give yourself that quiet space of stillness to just really connect and get intimate with yourself. So often we're so busy running around or focusing on what we're doing next, or trying to avoid or not deal with pain of the past, and so we really are very active. And so this just allows you to gently bring yourself back to your breath in this present moment and your five senses, whatever you see, hear, smell, touch, or taste. Just inviting yourself to give yourself some breathing room and some space to just be. And any time that you notice the activity of the mind or the emotions that are being felt, or even body sensations, just bringing yourself back gently to the present moment and your breath. Okay, so obviously you can do this for a lot longer, and I just want to be able to give you little bite-sized tastes of different strategies that you can use to really reduce the level of anxiety that you experience, or activity, so that you can really be present with the people in your life, especially present with yourself. So the next one is a breathing exercise. This can actually really clear your mind very quickly of any mental chatter or activity or any anxiety that you're experiencing. And I really love this one because you feel it right away. So I'm just going to guide you through that, and you can follow me. I usually do it in sets of 20, and then I pause and just notice how I feel, and then I do it again. And then pause and notice how I feel, and then do it again. I'll just do it one round, one set of 20, and you can follow along with me. What you're going to do is you're going to breathe in through your nose 2 times deeply, and then breathe out through your mouth like you're fogging a mirror. Okay, so is what it should be like. Okay, so we're going to do this for a set of, actually I'll do it for a set of 10, just for the sake of time. And then you can do it longer on your own after this conversation, after you're able to listen to the rest of this talk. Okay, so just notice. And you'll just notice this like sea of peace and tranquility, and an opening in your mind and your lungs and your throat. So obviously you can do this longer, and the longer that you do it in different sets, you'll notice the impact. But I just want to be able to give you little bite-sized nuggets. So the last piece is an exercise of visualization. And this is where you can visualize a light, a white light that is pouring above you and all throughout your body. And for those of you that are visual, you can practice this. For those of you that are more kinesthetic, the breathing one will work really well for you. And for those of you that have a very active mind, the discipline of the mindfulness will be really supportive for you in staying present and grounded. So for this last one, you're just going to visualize a bright light coming above your head and pouring all the way down your forehead and your ears and your eyes, loosening your jaw and your neck, the back of your neck, the front of your throat, the shoulders. And if you notice that you tend to hold tension, you can actually just tighten it and release and just let go. Tighten and release. We tend to hold a lot of tension in our shoulders. We're tightening our hands and release. And just allowing yourself to really let go fully, and having this light pour down your heart and your stomach and your hips and your thighs and your calves, all the way down to your feet. And you can actually even do a mantra, I am peace. As you breathe in, I am. You exhale out, you breathe out the word peace. Or you can say, I am, and then breathe out love. I am, and breathe out joy. And so these are just some ways that you can help deepen your connection with yourself and find inner peace, and maybe even start that process of more self-love and more inner peace. All right, so these are just a few little pieces that I'd like you to practice. And also you can probably even notice just by taking these few moments just now, you're actually much more grounded and more connected. A lot of times with the women that I work with who have maybe experienced a trauma or a transition or loss or dealing with anxiety or self-doubt, this is the first starting point where we can actually reconnect with ourselves. And a lot of times if we've experienced some sort of distressing event that we really don't like to feel, we can tend to rev up, and that's what can create anxiety. Another thing that can create anxiety is when we have things that we need to say, but we hold back, or things that we need to do, but we hold back, whether it's fear or self-doubt, whether it's conditioning, whether we're fearful of making a mistake, or we're dealing with perfectionism or procrastination, or maybe low self-esteem or fear of rejection. A lot of things can hinder us. And oftentimes, another thing that can get in our way is overgiving. Sometimes we can maybe operate into not only suppressing ourselves and our own needs, or whatever we need to say, but we can also tend to focus a lot on the external, on like, what can I do? How can I feel better? And some of those behaviors, whether it's being dependent or codependent or overgiving or trying to control others, or even beating ourselves up, feeling guilty, or, when you do that, we can really hurt ourselves in the process. And so for those of you that can relate to this, that maybe fall into this perfectionism or procrastination trap, or some of these beliefs of I'm not good enough, or I'm unworthy, or I need to do more, or be more, or get more, that we come from a place of lack. And when you go through life with that, sometimes there are certain building blocks that have led us to that place. So take our family of origin. If we grew up with a very critical mother, we maybe have become disconnected from our own feminine essence, or what gentle, nurturing, loving, maternal instinct is. And maybe we're disconnected from that nurturing, self-loving sort of place. Maybe our mom had low self-esteem, or was critical, or judgmental, or not really emotionally available. And so that can set us up to be more disconnected. If our father is overly critical or demanding, we can also maybe model that masculine way of being, of proving ourselves, or trying to achieve, and really driving ourselves to the point of burnout and exhaustion, and where we're really depriving ourselves of joy. And so, whatever the case is, and maybe some of you have experienced a combination of the two, which is challenging, or if maybe you experience one or the other, how do you navigate through these life transitions? And when you really feel kind of stuck, when you've been doing the same thing, or using these coping mechanisms of too much or too little, and it's just not working anymore. You're realizing that you need a new strategy, a new way that can help you feel more joyful, help you feel more integrated, more connected, more alive, have greater self-esteem, be able to feel more confident, more capable of navigating these experiences, and also feel really well supported at the same time, and safe to actually be vulnerable with these kind of raw, wobbly places, and really feel like you can trust yourself and the process. So I want to share with you a few things in my own life journey that have really helped me, and even little bits and pieces that have helped my clients that I've worked with. Now, for me, I've been very passionate to help support people. I think since I was 15 years old, I knew that I wanted to be a therapist, a coach, be able to really support people. Because I myself have been supported as a teenager, and whenever I needed support myself, I was very proactive about reaching out and getting that guidance, because I wanted to make it easier for myself, to be quite honest. And I wanted to get there faster and sooner with less complication and more ease. And so whenever I noticed that in my own life that I was needing extra support, I definitely reached out. And I think that has helped increase my confidence, because I received support in those moments of transition that otherwise could have kept me stuck or lasted longer than necessary. And so as I entered into and got my master's degree, I knew that I wanted to really support people in this way through their own transitions. And trauma became really a passion of mine, as well as helping couples break out of negative communication cycles and be able to deepen their connection with each other, and then helping people with anxiety. So these are the areas that I've been really just led to, and really areas of passion of mine. And in my own transitions, whether it be moving overseas, I lived in Spain, or moving to Italy and going through cultural adjustment, I know what it's like to deal with various valleys and mountaintops. And I'm sure that you, as being a heroine on your own journey, have experienced the valleys and the mountaintops. And the valleys are necessary to be able to get to the mountaintop. So how do we navigate the valleys when we're struggling or we're wanting to grow? Now, a lot of times the valley has a lot of beautiful gifts. Even though it can be painful and uncomfortable, it really is a blessing time, a miraculous time, because those breakdowns are amazing opportunities for breakthroughs. And I know it doesn't feel like it when we're actually in it, but with the support and with the ability to shift, those really can be, places which really can skyrocket you to the next level, whether it be in your career, your personal life, your interpersonal relationships. And so a few things that I'd like to share with you on how you can nurture yourself during those times, and ways that I've done that for myself. So a lot of times we can be really confused and we really don't know what to do. And so one thing that I automatically do is I check in with myself, and I get quiet and I get still, and I ask myself, what is it that I need right now? What should I do next? What kind of support do I need? What's the right decision? What feels like the right decision for me right now? What book do I need to read, or who do I need to reach out to? What am I meant to learn from this challenging experience? And I just ask myself whatever question it is that I am curious to know, and I give myself a chance to connect with my inner guidance system. And what this allows me to do is to really start trusting myself, to be really connected with myself, and to know how to make decisions more effectively. Now, sometimes I'm a verbal processor, so a lot of times I need to talk it out. And so that can be really helpful, doing that with a friend, or with a coach myself, or a counselor, or even just talking aloud in a recorder. Whatever it is that can help you get whatever that's in out. Now, I'm sure some of you maybe tend to deal with isolation or avoidance, or kind of suppressing what you have to say, kind of stuffing things down, and then it can build up or bottle itself up, and we can either explode or implode. So maybe some of you can relate to that. But I know for me, I want to get it up and out. And so sometimes talking with somebody that can really hear you out and be a sounding board that can really highlight what you're saying can help you gain that clarity and that insight, both for yourself and also, saying it out loud. So those are some strategies that I've used to help deepen my self-trust. Now, self-love and self-confidence is another important piece. Now, a lot of times when we are or have experienced, when you've experienced challenges throughout your lifetime, if you were to think about milestone experiences in your life, from childhood, family of origin, elementary school, high school, college, age, or your 20s, maybe you were a working professional, or your 30s or 40s or 50s, each of these phases of our lives have maybe pieces over time that we maybe haven't dealt with. Maybe we've swept things under the carpet. Maybe we've tucked things behind a door. Like, I don't want to deal with that. I'll deal with it later. And it just kind of builds and builds and builds until the door busts open and we no longer have choice. We actually have to deal with it and sort it out. And so if you were to think about all the different experiences, there are times in our lives where maybe we have self-supported ourselves, loved ourselves, nurtured ourselves, or maybe we self-abandoned. Maybe we disconnected from ourselves, like, oh, I don't want to deal with that, tuck it away. I don't want to deal with that, tuck it away. And so whenever we do that, we can actually maybe feel a little bit disconnected from ourselves, or feel a sense of a void, or feel lost, or feel like, where did I go? I've been so focused on caring for everyone else and giving, and not dealing with, maybe nurturing those wobbly raw spot areas, that I feel a little bit like, who am I? What am I? Where am I going? And so if you feel that way, being able to go back to all those places when maybe you self-abandoned, and to be able to really have some support in each of those areas, to basically reconnect with yourself and really integrate and build up your self-confidence and your self-love in revisiting some of those painful experiences. And they don't even have to be majorly traumatic. They can be very subtle transitions as well, where we maybe focused on somebody else and maybe set ourselves aside. And so being able to really love ourselves. Now, a few little, obviously the things I'm talking about are a lot deeper, but some more basic surface things that you can start to do, that can start focusing on this loving relationship with yourself on your own heroine's journey, is really like thinking about, if, for example, if body image is a challenge, right? Being able to look at those areas that you tend to reject, or whatever relationship that you have with yourself of rejecting, I'd like you to send love to those areas and actually apologize. Like, I'm so sorry that I have been so unkind to you, or I've been so judgmental, stomach or thighs, that I've been so mean to you, and I've put you down, and I've made you wrong, and I've shamed you, I've criticized you, and I'm really sorry. And I love you. Thank you so much for taking care of me. Thank you, muscles, for helping me to walk. Thank you, thighs and butt, for creating a cushion when I need to sit down, and it feels soft and it protects my bones. So thank you so much for that. I love you, and I'm going to take care of you. And so that can be a verbal, psychological, emotional paradigm shift of your relationship with yourself. And you can do that not only just with your body, but any area of your life. For example, if you tend to be very overly critical, let's say you have that perfectionist, don't want to make mistakes kind of way, relationship with yourself, what I would encourage you to do is actually get a piece of paper and write 3 columns. In the first column, I'd like you to write down what you did that day, or what things you accomplished, or whatever you did. And then in the second column, I'd like you to write, I'm satisfied. And then in the third column, writing, I am enough. And when you start getting into this practice, and you can start this, a brain dump of all that you've done today or yesterday, and start with that, and then you can build on it. So then every time that you do something, let's say, I made my children's lunch today, and let's say you say, I should be doing more, I'm not doing enough. You stop yourself, and you write that down, and then you write, I'm satisfied and I'm enough. And you start creating a new psychological and emotional relationship with yourself. This can be a way of increasing your self-love and your self-confidence ultimately, because when you beat yourself up for making a mistake or doing something wrong, it actually chips away at your self-esteem. It doesn't make you better. It actually makes you worse. So a lot of times what I like to do is support women in celebrating their brilliance first, because when you celebrate a woman's brilliance, this is really the feminine essence that I'm shifting into. This is really about being nurturing and loving. When you actually celebrate a woman's brilliance, when you celebrate your brilliance, you shine, and you actually want to be better. It actually allows a woman to be better. Now, in the masculine world, which all of us have learned to adapt, and in some ways we've disconnected from our feminine essence to survive in the man's world, But in the man's world, they're warriors, and they're all about like tough love, kind of try more, push harder, do better. And so men tend to criticize in a way, or but when men do it to each other, they aren't non-affected. But when you do that to a woman, her self-esteem, we're like little flowers. So when you criticize or shame us or say that we did something wrong, we've already beaten ourselves up and we're already trying 10 times harder. But when you actually shine a light on what we did wrong, it's like we're little flowers that die. And so it's really important that in our relationship with ourselves and actually telling other people who are loved ones how they can get the best out of you by how they relate to you. Of first, celebrate my brilliance, then refinement. And the same with the community of women that I work with in running retreats. It's all about celebrating one another's brilliance first, and then refinement. And when you do that, when you have that relationship with yourself, when you are not available for the other way, and you set the tone for how you desire to be treated, or how you can really shine, and how somebody can really in your circle can support you, whether it be friends or family or your partner, you open up a space to be well supported and to really connect with your feminine essence. Now, the feminine essence of the empowered female is really about self-love, being nurturing towards yourself, doing things that bring you pleasure and joy, being able to have time to reflect, to connect with your intuition, to connect with nature, with your inner wisdom, to rest, to focus on self-care activities or beautifying activities like exercise or spa or dance, movement, laughing with friends, being with friends, going on a trip, on an adventure, taking a weekend away for yourself. Now, I know sometimes we say, oh, well, I'm busy, I can't do something like that. There are ways that we can actually connect with our feminine essence throughout the day that doesn't have to take a whole lot. A whole lot of time or a whole lot of money. And I guarantee that if you actually fill up your own bank account and start putting marble jars of joy and love and self-care and connecting with this feminine essence, you will feel better and you will feel more vibrant. And if you find that you tend to sacrifice or sabotage this, you need to be well supported so that you have a really solid container to really celebrate and up-level, increase your self-confidence and your self-esteem, your connection with your feminine essence, to feel well supported in these transitions along your feminine, this heroine's journey. Because each phase in your life is an opportunity to evolve and to deepen your connection with yourself. And if you feel out of balance or out of alignment in any way, that means that extra support and work is required in each of these areas, so you can actually feel more inner peace, more self-love, and feel confident about navigating these transitions in your life more effectively. And so with that level of support and that ongoing consistency, it can really help anchor you in, because you really are the nucleus of everything, especially if you are a wife or a mother. If you're not well supported, everything suffers. And we often give so much of ourselves to a fault. And so I hope that this talk really just gives you some really valuable nuggets of wisdom that you can begin to apply and use in your own life so that you can begin this process of self-love and inner peace. And I want to offer you a special gift so you can really assess where you are at in this process of your own level of self-esteem along your heroine's journey, and with whatever phase or phases that you've been through in your life, how that has affected your self-esteem positively or negatively. And so I want to offer you this very free gift. It's really simple. It's a checklist. It's super easy to do. I think you can do it in probably 3 minutes, 5 minutes, where you actually see what are the areas of your self-esteem, how strong your self-esteem is, and where are those wobbly areas that need more support. And so you simply have to go to truepotentialcounseling.com// self-esteem checklist. So once again, truepotentialcounseling.com// self-esteem checklist. And you'll be able to see what are your areas of strength around your self-esteem and what are those wobbly areas that need more support. In addition, only to you that are participating in this summit, I'm going to offer you a free 30-minute follow-up coaching strategy session where we explore what those areas of strength are and what those areas of vulnerability are that you need extra support around. And I can give you a little bit more tailored attention and what sort of plan would best support you in really beginning that process specifically to you and what you are dealing with and what your assessment specifically says for you, and get that one-on-one attention. So I'll also provide a link to my calendar so we can set up a strategy session. So feel free to check that out, truepotentialcounseling.com// self-esteem checklist. And I look forward to connecting with you on that free clarity call. All right, take care. And I hope you loved this summit. I really loved every single interview with all these amazing women. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I feel that it supported my soul. And also I wanted to share it with you because I think really paying it forward, the more of us as women on the planet that feel inner peace and self-love, the better our world is going to be. And so for me, this is a passion project of mine to really support women in up-leveling and becoming the best version of themselves. So I hope you've enjoyed this summit and that you've enjoyed this additional talk, and I look forward to connecting with you soon. Thank you. Bye.